Hello everyone and welcome to the first webinar in our 2015 Data Knowledge Series. My name is Burnham, I'm CEO of Stilo and I'm joined today by Patrick Baker, our VP of Development, and by Fabrice Lacroix, the CEO and founder of Antidot, who are the creators of Fluid Topics. I'm based in the UK, Pat's based in Canada and Fabrice is based in France, and so it's a truly international presentation that we're making today. Before we start, I'd just like to cover some of the general housekeeping points that many of you will be used to seeing. All attendees will be muted for the duration of the webinar, but questions can be submitted using the Q&A panel in the meeting window, and we'll look to address those at the end of the session. We'll also be running a survey afterwards, and we would appreciate it if you could spend a couple of minutes giving us your feedback. It's very important to us, and we do appreciate it. And as always, today's webinar has been recorded, and a link, hopefully, if the technology holds up okay, a link will be emailed to all attendees in the next day or two. For those of you who don't know already, Stilo, we're actually a public company listed on London Stock Exchange. We've been in the business of developing HTML and XML tools for more than 20 years, really, beginning with OmniMark, which is a content processing language with a very sort of long-standing pedigree, and up to today with AuthorBridge, which is a web-based data authoring tool for SMEs, which we're bringing to market at the end of March. But more about that later. Today we're going to be talking about Migrate and a solution that is based upon Migrate and Fluid Topics, which we'll come on to. Migrate's a cloud conversion service which is being used by many customers for legacy content conversion. We've actually converted more than 500,000 pages of content to DITA over recent years, and that's just a sort of a quick snapshot of some of the customers we deal with. Typically, we're converting content for those customers that are making the move to structured authoring, but for those customers who don't want to make the move to structured authoring, want to continue operating with authoring in Word and Frame and other sort of familiar tools, we can use Migrate as an import engine to any publishing system. And that's what really brings us on to today's talk and presentation. Fluid Topics, I was much impressed by this when I first saw Fluid Topics. It's a publishing system which can be incorporated into any CCMS-based application. But also, I thought what was interesting about this was that it could be integrated with Migrate, so that combined in a matter of days, we saw the potential where we could actually provide customers with relevant content accessible across any web or mobile channel, and we could do this really quickly. And we could enable customers to interact with product support information while continuing to use Word and FrameMaker for everyday authoring. In this particular solution, there's no CCMS required, although it'll be quite easy to later add a CCMS or essentially evolve with a CCMS-based system if that makes practical sense for you. So here was sort of a really quite exciting opportunity to really generate results very quickly, and it's this what we want to talk about today. So without further ado, I'll pass over to Fabrice and assign control to him, and hopefully the transfer will take place very smoothly. And Fabrice, hopefully you'll be able to share your desktop soon.
Thanks, Les. Let me see. I should be able to share my desktop. You're right. Not yet. Still waiting for the share application. Okay. Are you seeing my desktop?
I am. I'm seeing it now, yeah.
That's perfect. Okay. So, hello everybody. Thanks for attending this presentation. Few words and few slides first before we go live with a demo of Fluid Topics and of Migrate communicating with Fluid Topics. So about Antidot, we're a software vendor. We're an emerging leader in dynamic content management. We have more than 150 clients and a very innovative solution in search technology, content enrichment. the case and why we design Fluid Topics is that, as you know, the world is shifting from a product-oriented to a service-oriented economy. And as companies, we cannot just ship product anymore, push boxes. We must now deliver a product experience. And for companies engineering and selling complex products, this means providing access to the knowledge required to operate those products, to install them, configure them, maintain them. And when I say sophisticated product, I mean software, hardware solutions like network devices, telecom devices, so electronics, robotics, aeronautics, life science, financial services. And in this regard, we are facing higher and higher customer expectations. And not to mention internal challenges like providing the best customer support at the lowest possible cost. So most of those companies are at risk because they are failing to master the technical content. They have a large volume of valuable information, but mostly static and dispersed in many silos like technical documentation, knowledge bases, wikis, catalogs, user-generated content such as forums, and they fail to deliver a consistent user experience across all channels and all content types. And even worse, they don't know what people search, what they read, and there's a critical lack of insights and customer feedback. So the situation is that inside the company you have this content with people and tools for creating and managing that, but the way that information is published is totally inadequate, mostly in the form of static HTML and PDF documents, which makes it impossible to search and difficult to read. So the situation is even more spooky. On the front line, you have the process with tools dedicated to create and manage the support tickets, for example, and sometimes with a small embedded knowledge base. And in the back office, you have all this content, and there is a huge gap between those two worlds. And the product information that's desperately needed is published the wrong way, which means it goes in the wrong format to the wrong place, sometimes in cumbersome extranet sites, which are very difficult to browse. So that's why we design Fluid Topics, and that's what we do. We change the game. So we design this product to do three things: get it, use it, share it. So first, Fluid Topics combines content from multiple sources to create a unified knowledge hub of readily available information. So we provide a unique and comprehensive knowledge repository. Then Fluid Topics gives a fast and contextual access to that knowledge through sleek and nice interfaces. That's semantic search engine with state-of-the-art relevance, fine-grained search, an embedded reader streaming the content as you read, so there's no more download needed, with immediate and contextual access, and it's a very elegant and responsive interface. So we make that content available on any channel, any device, anytime, anywhere. And on top of that, we have added many features like the possibility to bookmark content, comment it, send feedback, create alerts, like being notified when a specific content is updated or added. But one of the key features of Fluid Topics is the personal book. Users can create their own manual in a few clicks by assembling relevant pieces of content and adding their own knowledge. Once manuals are created, they can be shared or printed. So this is totally transforming the way people use and reuse technical content, fostering social behavior, for example. And we also provide analytics because we track everything that is searched, that is read by every user, and we provide multiple dashboards per user, per content, per subject, and so on. So Fluid Topics is designed to serve many different types of stakeholders. For example, text writers and knowledge workers, because they can immediately publish what they write, no more long batch processing, and every version of the content is available, not only the last one. For the customer support agents, we provide a unified access point so that all the content is really available in one place securely. And for end users, you can create, for example, a self-service portal and make that knowledge they need available on any channel. So now, yes, Fluid Topics you'll see is somehow totally magic, but the magic is based on something. What is really different is that one of the reasons is because we work on small pieces of content. We don't work on large books, documents, huge PDF that are 100 pages long, but we work on small chunks that are few lines to few pages long. So for those of you that are writing in DITA or no DITA or XML-based, component-based authoring, so we work at the topic level. When we index knowledge base, we work at the knowledge base entry level on the support tickets, on wiki pages, forum posts, emails, so very fine grain. And the problem is that what if your content is not fine grained because you write with Word, for example? So does it mean that you cannot have access to the magic of fluid topics? Well, that's what we see as a solution, and that's something we've done with Stilo, and that's what we are going to show you right now. So there's a demo now. We're going to demo you how you can benefit from fluid topics, starting with your FrameMaker Word document without going through a CCMS, without running through a lengthy project, and just have all the benefits.
Okay, thanks very much, Fabrice. If you could perhaps assign control to me, that would be good. Thank you.
Assign control.
So I'll share my screen. And hopefully everyone can see that now. Sorry, I'll escape out of that. I need to just advance to a couple more slides and then hopefully get back on track with this. Okay, so the good news is that let me just check that I've got the right slide. Sorry, so we're talking about really a solution that delivers rapid results. The good news is that it's really quite easy to integrate to fluid topics using Migrate. We can get up and running in a matter of days, and this was really, I found personally very impressive when we dealt with Fabrice and put this in place. So we can go from Word and Frame content, which we upload to Migrate and present them as searchable topics in a matter of minutes, actually. And as Fabrice said, there's no CCMS involved in this. It's using DITA under the hood. It could use any XML under the hood, but in this case, today we're using DITA. And it still provides an opportunity for topic reuse with those personal books that Fabrice referred to, and which we'll be able to show you more in the demo as we go through. And it's what I think, considering this as a possible stepping stone along the way to a CCMS-based content strategy, something that could typically take, does take a lot longer to generate meaningful results. But this is typically an architecture which could be used with Migrate feeding into fluid topics. It could just as easily have a CCMS overlaid on top of this at a later date. Or indeed, if you're already using a CCMS, this still might be able to provide you with some very rapid benefits. So Migrate can produce DITA which could feed into fluid topics, or it could indeed feed into a CCMS which could be used for other publishing purposes as well. So there's various options available there. Just to bring you up to speed with Migrate, typically it's a very sort of customizable workflow if we're putting it into this if we're making it this ingestion engine. We would pre-configure a portal for you in the setup phase. You'd have a dedicated portal, and we'd pre-configure this for different document groups, and we can set it up for DITA 1.1, 1.2, specializations, whatever. It also uses a rules editor, which we'll show you very briefly today as well. So we can easily configure new rules for new document sets. We can clone and modify rule sets, and we could process document templates if that makes sense as well. So we can set it up in very different ways, and the idea being that we'll get some sort of push-button workflow which authors could use. And you could upload your file, a single file, multiple files. You can zip them and upload them to Migrate. Migrate would convert them in real time and on demand. And the richness of the conversion is, I think, worth bringing attention to, because we can really convert some very complex documents, which could be a mix of complicated, maybe tables, images, variables, We can convert based upon sort of patterns in context and content as well. So we can do some really quite sophisticated stuff really with conversions. We take frame drawings to SVG and equations to MathML as well, and then we publish. And so we can publish high quality data every time. We basically sort of producing schema generated data, so it's valid every time, and we can go down to whatever fine-grained granularity you wish. And so very quickly we can go to a publishing system, in this case Fluid Topics. For updates, we can just re-upload and start this cycle again. So that's basically the workflow and the process. But as I say, this can be configured in many different ways. And I'll just hand over to Pat now and assign control to Pat, who will step you through the demo, the first part of the demo, I should say.
Okay, hello everyone. I will take you through the workflow involved in uploading a document, getting it converted to DITA, which is under the hood, but the main goal is to get it published to your portal. So I'll begin by sharing my screen. So you should now all be seeing the Migrate dashboard. And I'll kick things off by uploading a first document. Now this one will be a FrameMaker document. I select it and I click on Upload, and Migrate can, by the file extension, determine that it is indeed a FrameMaker document, saved in MIF format, which is the interchange format. And as part of the upload process, Migrate analyzes the document and pulls out all the information it can about it. So it's done doing that. And what I need to do at this point is to assign a rule set in the target, because different documents are authored differently, and we can guide the conversion with rule sets. We apply a pre-configured rule set to the document. And I accept the credits here and move forward with the setting the target, which will be based on DITA 1.2. So I can kick off a conversion right away. So so I think what I'll do is I'll show you the document that I'm working with. So here's a PDF that was generated from FrameMaker of this document. And it's a document we often use in demos. It represents typical tech doc content. The table actually got chopped off here as part of the PDF export. It's more complicated than that, actually. And so this is a book that contains several chapters, some conceptual material. This was actually a table. The PDF export didn't keep the borders, but it's still certainly a table, list, another chapter. And as I scroll down, I can see a graphic there that was actually drawn using the FrameMaker drawing tool. And then we have some tasks on how to accomplish things, and some challenge scenarios here that are kind of difficult. Things like, let's say, in DITA, you're only allowed to have 2 levels of instructions in a procedure. Well, this one has 3. So we'll see how we deal with that. We don't want to have to worry about it because the DITA is under the hood in this solution. And here's another issue here where this is actually a table, although most of the borders haven't been drawn. It's actually laid out as a table in FrameMaker. So now let's go back to Migrate where the conversion is complete. I'll dig into this document here, and I have a Publish button. So this pushes it out to the Fluid Topic portal, and right now Fluid Topics is doing the actual heavy lifting of the publishing work. And while it does that, I will show you the rules editor on this document. So this is how we can configure and guide the conversion. Now, the more that your documents stick to a template, less frequently you have to touch the rules to get the conversion to succeed. So it's nice having the flexibility to be able to adapt to odd situations by having these rules, so you can control the conversion. So here we actually see the full table coming in from the FrameMaker. It's quite a bit more complicated. If I click around, the rules editor is there to help you set rules, and also understand your current rule set. What we actually see here is a rendition of the FrameMaker document in the content panel. Our rules are down below. And here we have all sorts of helpful information. For example, I can tell that this chunk of text that's selected, all these properties about it, all these visual properties. And the goal here is to convert from visual to semantic, from visual properties to good quality data, and that enables the publishing to fluid topics. So here we can see we've actually identified this as being a concept. Level 1, data has hierarchical concepts, which basically gives you a table of contents in your document. This is how we do our chunking. And chunking, if you recall, enables the magic of fluid topics, fine-grained breakdown of the topics of the book. So if I just scroll down a bit, you can see to the bottom. Here we can see the table that I was referring to earlier. And if I click on the table, I select the cell and the row and then the whole table, so I can see what has applied at each different level. And just sort that. This rule has fired. And what this rule is doing is actually extracting the information from that table into definitions, a definition list. So that this table really is a definition list, and Migrate can pull that information out of the table so that it gets presented just that way. So I think at this point, at this point we should be able to view our content. So let me refresh that page actually. And have a look at that. So here's our document published. I'm just going to run to the bottom. Actually, I can do that using the nav screen. There we go. And here's that definition list. It's pulled out. Now, just to show the sort of flexibility you have, I'm going to turn that off as an example of how you can modify rules and control certain aspects of the conversion. This was the rule that did it, but I'll just turn that off and save my rule set. Very good. I'll head back over to the Migrate dashboard and I will reconvert because I've made changes to my rules, so the output will be slightly different. And in the meantime, we can take a closer look at the document in fluid topics. So back to the top. So we see the table was handled very nicely, even though it's a complicated table with lots of cell spanning. We have a navigation interface here, so the document has been chunked. The chunking rule set in Migrate, and it visualizes nicely in this table of contents on the left. So we see various tables here. I can scroll down, image. You'll see further below. So here are some tasks. We see we now have 3 levels of nesting at this point. Warnings are coming out, bold text as appropriate. And I think we had issue number 5 it was. Yeah. So even though you're not allowed to have 3 levels of steps in data, it still gets published, so the content was written that way, it'll get delivered. So really this one's just a nested list. So, you know, it'll do. Let's see where we are right now with the conversion. I've made that rule change and it's converted. So I will republish that. And now Fluid Topics is updating the document on the portal. So give it a moment to do that. What I'd like to do is maybe start in on a second document. That was a FrameMaker example. I want to also show a Word example. So here we go. So I begin by uploading it. I've gone to the upload screen. Migrate will recognize that it's a docx file and analyze it. Once again, pulling out all the visual artifacts it can to enable that, to enable the rules. So very good. I will find the appropriate rule set here. Oops. And target. And I can launch that conversion. Okay. Over here, I should have an update. Let me refresh the screen. And get down to the bottom. So now we see that because I disabled that rule in the rules editor, we are no longer taking the table and extracting its contents. It's just coming out as a plain table now. So user's preference on that one. Okay. So let me come back to our Word document, which is now converted with the rules that were pre-configured. So I can head over and publish the second document to my Fluid Topics portal. Now let's have a look at that Word document. I haven't shown it to you yet. So it's just really a hodgepodge of documentation taken from our OmniMark product, which is a programming language. So we see here some sample programs and output. Once again, there's, let's see here, there's a heading level 1, and over here, heading level 2, so we can expect that kind of nesting when we publish. So more that sort of stuff. Here I have some links within my Word document, so you can see that these are actually links in Microsoft Word. Here's just API documentation for one function from one of the libraries that OmniMark supports. It does UTF-8 handling. Let's have a look at that on the portal. So I'll click here, home. And here's about OmniMark. Okay, so here we have it in Fluid Topics. We'll take a closer look at that in a moment. What I'd like to do is show how we might update this document. So, for example, if I were to come back to my Word document and make an edit, say something very simple, text here. There we go, a small change, and I will save that and double check my path. Okay, very good. I'll upload. I've made a change to the document and I want to upload it. So here it is. Yeah. I'll just allow Migrate to analyze it, find the rule set and our target, and launch the conversion. In the meantime, we can have a look. So here it is, about OmniMark. We see our program samples and their output. We have the The first thing, as expected, just 2 levels for this document. It's a small example, an XML example there. Here are the links, so we can see bottom left of my screen that as I hover over these, the links have been preserved. So they're coming through from Word. And here's the API function documented. Now, I will reload this. So, oh no, I haven't republished yet. Let me come back. I want to follow through on this document, and I actually want to publish the edit that I made. Okay, so we'll give that a moment. And in the meantime, I'll just show you a few additional features of Migrate. As you can see, we can start accumulating documents here. So in order to stay organized, you can use baskets. So you can create a basket at any time and name it however you like. I'll create 2 for this example. So one called Myth and one called DocX. Then I can come back to my main dashboard and organize my work. I can choose these 2 documents, assign it to that basket, and then I can choose a current basket. So right now I'm viewing all documents. I can choose to only view this document. If I upload something now, it will upload directly into my basket because my basket tracks as I move around. You can manage your rule sets over here. Currently I only have the 2. So let's come back and refresh. I did do that publish. And we see that a paragraph got added. So we're able to update our Fluid Topics portal. If I come back to the main home page, I have 2 documents on my Fluid Topics portal. And that concludes my demo. I think at this point I pass the presenter role to Fabrice. And there you are.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you for this demo. So Patrick showed us how Migrate can analyze your FrameMaker Word documents, and they support other formats like that. They analyze them, they transform that into XML. So in this case, it was DITA, and they chunk it, and then they push that to Fluid Topics. And a few seconds after that, it's up and running in Fluid Topics. So now you may ask, okay, what's the benefit? What are the benefits of having Fluid Topics as a publishing solution? So that's what I'm going to show you now during a 10 to 15 minute demo. So usually that's something that takes me something like 45 minutes. There's so many things that I'd like to show you, so I have to concentrate that on a few elements only. So this is another portal. This is the portal we use for our own technical content, because as a software vendor, we have all our products and APIs documented, so I'll do the demo of our own portal. So this is the Antidot technical publication portal. And when you arrive, the first thing that you see is that you've got a simple search box. So because that's what people are used to when they go on the web, they go to Google, they go to Bing, and they got this simple search box, easy way to enter this universe that they don't know. So you could filter based on your product, type of documents you're looking for, product version or language, but you can just start with a simple search. And when you start searching like that, you see you got this autocomplete feature, which is typo tolerant, you see. And so helps and drives the user, helps him make its query. So let's say I'm looking for data, for example. So very simple query. I should click, okay. And so that's the first main feature of Fluid Topics. That's the semantic search. And what you see on this page is that on the left side, the large part, those are not documents. Those are topics. Those are chunks. We index at the finest possible level. So in this case, those are topics, which means that we gain high relevance. And as you can see, when a topic appears in different documents, we detect that, and we produce it only once in the result page, and we can tell you that this data topic is appearing in the CKS Installation Administration Guide, Antidot Product Overview, and so forth. So you see all that you have here are topics. And on the left side in the column, so you have the keywords you use for the query. So you can multiple keywords, use complex search expression with and, or, exact search, and so forth. And otherwise, you've got these facets. So the facets are filters that you can use to narrow down your search based on your product, the product you have, or what you're looking for. And so the facets are generated automatically when we receive the content, we analyze the content, and we generate those facets, those filters, based on the metadata of your content. Say, for example, I've got the AFS product, so I can narrow down my search, and you see it's very fast. One click, and automatically the search result is updated. So I can use multiple facets. Say I'm in version 7.7 of the product, for example. Then I'm looking for a reference guide, and so forth. And you see now I've got 52 results. I can release the version like that. So very simple to query the system and navigate and find exactly what you're looking for. So as I mentioned, this is semantic search. For example, if I look for SCP, so you see that I've got a result for SCP or autocomplete that is highlighted as well, because we support synonyms, taxonomies, complex tethers that you can manage through the back office. And that way you can align your vocabulary, the way you write, with the way users search for content. So very easy to do. And we also handle things like alerts. You can save any search and turn that into an alert, which means that the next time you give it a name, say OK, and it's done. So the next time I got a content that's new or updated that does match this precise query, keyword SCP in reference guide for the product AFS, I'll be notified. I will receive an email that will tell me that there's something new. So you can remove, or let's unfollow that. You can create scopes, which is a way to save your current filters so that you don't have to re-click each time that you come on the different facets, and you can just apply them on the fly like that. So you can save sets of filters matching your different use cases. So those are the sort of things. So it's very fast, as you can see, very easy to use. Now, so I have only 15 minutes, so I have many things to say on search, but I'd like to show you the next part, which is the way, once you've found the result that you're looking for, the information you're looking for. Say, for example, I'm interested in this topic regarding the SCP, the autocomplete feature, and I'd like to read this topic, and I see that it's available in the AFS integration guide. So I just click, and then the system tells me, hey, you know what? I got multiple versions of this guide. So you have to tell me, because dynamically I know that you didn't selected the product version here, so you have to tell me what version of the guide you need. So I say, okay, I'm in version 7.7 of the product. I just click, and I'm entering the second part of the product, which is the embedded reader. So as you can see, it took only a second, less than a second, to open the book and be on the right position at the right page directly. So there's no download. We stream the content, just the part that you know that need to be streamed to be displayed on the screen. On the left side, you have the table of content of the AFS integration guide in version 7.7, and the table of content is opened automatically at the right position on this topic ACP, and I'm positioned as well. That's the content itself. So you see the title here, and then I can start reading. And the nice thing is that you just scroll when you want to read. You don't have to click to go to the next topic. You just scroll like that, backward and forward, okay? And as you can see, while I scroll, let's do it like that, the table of content synchronizes automatically. So same for the name of the current topic, and I read my content like that. I can click anywhere in the table of content to jump in the document. For example, I want to go to the introduction, so I just have to click, and from here I start reading again, which means that whatever the size of the document, whether it's 10 pages or 10,000 pages long, takes the same time. So it's very easy to navigate and read that information. You remember I mentioned the fact that it works on any device. So let me show you if I resize my browser, you see how it would look like on a tablet. So it's full responsive interface. So you see, for example, the table of contents is here. I can just click. So that's how it would look like. It would work as well on a mobile. So that's what it looks like on a mobile. So tablet the other way. And back to the laptop side. So you see the interface adapts automatically. And so we make it fast, very simple to navigate and read the document. So now we've added a few features on top of that, like the ability for people to send feedbacks while they are reading. So I'm reading this CGI topic. I'd like to send something to the writer, so I write demo. This is my feedback for this topic. And just click OK. So it's done. So you see feedback sent successfully. So I didn't have to leave the interface, just one click, say, hey, I don't understand this, or there's a mistake there, or there's missing information or whatever, or nice content, whatever. They can do that within the interface. Anyone can send a feedback to the text writing team. You can also share, send that information to someone else. But there are two features that I'd like to show you. One, the first one is because when you navigate like that, you'd like to remember and to find a way to come back in that very precise position, that very precise topic the next time, because that's something that you need. So you'd like to bookmark that, just like when you put post-it notes or tabs on the real pages, you know, on the side of your books. So we made it that easy. It's like, okay, you see I'm in FS Integration Guide version 7.7, session cookie topic, and you see this small icon there, create a bookmark. I just click, select the color of my bookmark, say OK, and it's done. So this has been added here to my bookmark list. So, and I know now that this topic is bookmarked because of the color of the icon. So if I change on the fast CGI topic, it's not bookmarked. But when I scroll, when I'm a topic that is bookmarked, I don't know where it was, I lost it, the color changes again. And the list of my bookmarks is available here because I got a table of contents view and I've got the bookmark view. So I got my latest bookmark here, session cookie, and previous bookmark that I created before, so with different colors. So you see they're all here. I just have to click, which is good because the next time I come, maybe I'll be here on the home page. I'll be searching directly for the integration guide. Okay, IFS integration guide. So let's see, it's live search. Say OK. The book opens. Use my bookmarks, session cookie, and I'm back. So it's like 3 seconds to be back at the right position to find the information you need in the book. Another feature that we've created into the topics, and I mentioned that in the slides, is the personal book feature. So that's the ability for end users to create their own manuals dynamically, reusing the content that you provide, reusing those existing contents. Say, for example, I'm interested in, in session cookies, for example, whatever about cookies or TCP sessions. And I'd like to cut out all these session paragraphs, you see, session, search session, session cookies, and so forth, and put that in a separate book, make something smaller than this huge FS integration guide. So that's this icon, add to a personal book. I click there, opens a pop-up, and it says, okay, you want to add topics, search session with comment or not, to book, security. So let's create a new book. It's like a folder. It's Stilo book. Say, okay, so I got this new book. And instead of just this only topic, I want multiple topics. So this session, search session, and so forth. Say, okay. So it's done. So it's like if I've been copying and pasting some way this content and put that in my personal book. I can, let's find something else related to users or find another set of content in another guide, like the BO user guide, for example. in another product version, 7.6, and say, well, that's a bit different, but say about creating user, that's interesting, and I want to bookmark that as well, put that in my manual. So I say here, I select the same way this, okay, well, this as well, and put that still in my Stilo book. Say, okay, so it's done. So you see, when you navigate over time, you can enrich your book when you find something that's interesting. Let's do that in the last, use the publication tab and use something different to show difference. I think we have content in French as well, maybe, hope so. Let's use something, maybe not. Let's use something, well, from a release note, for example, here, and say, save this latest, same way. Okay, and put that as well in my book. So now you see I've been adding different pieces of content in this Stilo book, and my books are available here. So you see this new Stilo book that I've created. Those are my other books, so you can have as many books as you want. This is my Stilo book, and if I click on it, you see I enter the same embedded reader, streaming the content, and I can read my personal manual online the same way, and scroll through the manual with the different elements I've selected, session, managing users, and those two ones. And because so when I read, I can add comments. Say I'm on search session, I can add a comment in our situation, whatever, you may adapt that, because that's your book now. So you can put comments related to what you want to do. So you've been adding comments here. And because it's a book, and when you add something new, it's appended at the end of the book, you may need to modify that. So for example, you want to have this at the beginning. In fact, this you don't move, you delete it. Okay. Save. And it's done, and it's live. So you see, just close that, you say that's what I want, and automatically now it starts with this revision information plus session and so on. So really very easy to do. Anyone can create books like that. So that's good because you're reusing content and you have the benefits of content reuse even for the end users, not just for the tech writers. Everybody can really leverage existing content. But it's even better because you see what I've been doing. I've been commenting existing content, but maybe I'd like to really add something new here. And you can do that. You can even add and write your own personal content. So that's write a personal content, say my topic, blah, blah, and I write something new. You can even look at that, copy paste something existing here. That's going to be more content. It's here. I say save. So it's done. And you see now, it took me like a second. You see now that I've got a new topic here that's been inserted just below the topic I was on. So, and you know that's a personal topic because the small icon that says that's something that's user-generated content. But that's the middle of the book, and I can still read it the same way. You see, and it's here. I could put comment, and I know that it's something that I've created myself, that it's not official content because it says that's user-generated content by me and the date. You see, as opposed to official content that, and you know where it comes from. You know this comes from the FS integration guide, and if you click, you jump back to the official guide, and you can read the rest of the content there. You can print that, you can share it with other people, you can generate PDF, static HTML version of those books, so you can really leverage that content that you've created. And maybe I've got 1 minute, the last thing that I'd like to show you. You remember your initial guides that you have, your PDF version generated based on your FrameMaker version or your Word version. So you were used to generate a PDF. And, well, PDFs are good. We're not against PDF. We said it's not easy to use, easy to search, but sometimes people like to download them. So we provide that facility and that feature with Antidot, with the Fluid Topics. Let's go, for example, to I think that's got one like the back office integration guide. So let's jump to that book. And you see this book here. I got this down arrow, and if I click tells me that there are related downloads, and there is a PDF version that I can download from here. So which means that your FrameMaker documents that you have and that you have transformed into PDF, you can first transform them into DITA and send them to FluidTopics to provide this very efficient way of searching and navigating and browsing in your content. But still, you can also send your PDF to FluidTopics, and FluidTopics will provide both ways to access that content live and the related downloads for people that want the PDF version. Well, I think that's 15 minutes. That's the only time I have. So you see a lot of information there. Many more features that I'd like to show you, but maybe that would be the opportunity for another webinar. So I think I gotta give the presentation back to Les. Les, it's your turn.
Okay, thanks very much, Fabrice. That was great. So let me share my screen with everyone.
Yeah. So you understand now why Stilo is needed to make FluidTopics work, because this bookmarking feature, the capability of this, the feature like personal books works because we have chunked information, okay? And this chunking, this analysis of the FrameMaker Word document is done by Stilo, and Stilo provides us with that restructured information that we can leverage to create those features and provide those features.
That's great. Thanks very much. I think there's also, we've obviously only got a few minutes to try to show an awful lot of functionality. There was another part of FluidTopics which was very interesting as well, which is analytics, which we didn't have time to show there, but which would also be able to provide some really good feedback on usage and on search results and things. So that could really help focus in on your most useful content as well. But anyway, that was great. Thanks very much for that, Fabrice. So we now want to open up for questions. I don't know if we received any. I think not at the moment, but let's just give it a minute or two. One question is, how practical is it not to have a CCMS underpinning this? I don't know what you would say to that, Fabrice. I have a few ideas.
Well, I think we share the same view, Les. We're not against CCMS. The thing is that depends on having a CCMS, if you use FrameMaker or Word for authoring content, setting up a CCMS would help for managing that authoring process, okay, workflow, approval, revision, translation, and so forth. We know the benefits of CCMS. But if your starting point is you've got Word documents, you've got FrameMaker documents, you can still have start with, because if you go for a CMS, okay, you will need to transform your content. And if you start with your CCMS project and then wait for the project to be completed and then put a dynamic publishing solution like FluidTopics, that will be in 1 year. And during 1 year, you won't see real benefits for the end users, at least. Maybe the tech writers will enjoy having the CMS, but all that investment that you do really makes sense if you can also change the way you publish content and information. But the good thing is that you can start transforming your content, your FrameMaker or Word content with Migrate, and immediately have benefits from that, which means that you just plug FluidTopics to Migrate, and like in 2 days, you've got the benefits of having migrating into, for example, DITA. And then you can reintegrate that DITA content inside your CCMS, and when the CMS project is completed, you can plug FluidTopics on the CCMS, which means that now that will be the CCMS that will send the content to FluidTopics. So it's sort of, it's like you can have a CCMS project, you can not have a CCMS project. Anyway, that doesn't prevent from having this direct connection between Migrate and FluidTopics. I don't know your view, Les, on that.
I absolutely agree entirely that it could be, as you said in the presentation earlier, a stepping stone on the way to implementing a CCMS, but certainly it delivers very, very quick results. I was most impressed with, and as you said, within a couple of days you can be up and running with a very powerful portal, and that's great. we've got a few minutes left to wrap up. I'd like to just sort of move on with some summary slides as well. I think just to emphasize how quickly people might be able to get their content up and running in a Fluid Topics portal. We do a free conversion and publishing offer. Those of you who know Migrate will know that we do this as a matter of course anyway, but here what we can do is if you provide us a sample document, let's have a Word document or a FrameMaker document, typically sort of 20 pages or less maybe, we'll convert it to DITA and we'll publish it to a Fluid Topics portal and we can jointly review the results. It really is a very rapid process. So if you want to do that, then just upload those URLs you see, and we'll review things with you. There's a Fluid Topics portal there which you can go to take a look at the content. Just to bring you up to date on some upcoming webinars, we have Joanne Hackhorst talking on March the 17th, which is great, and so just a few weeks' time on building an enterprise content collaboration. So we have that to look forward to. If you want to enroll, please go to our website, and then following that we'll have a presentation of AuthorBridge, which is our new DITA authoring tool, which is geared towards SMEs, and that's coming on just great, and it'll be good to share progress with you. Upcoming events will be at the Vasant User Group in March, and we'll be at CMS to North America in April and the STC Summit in June. So if you'd like to come and talk to us, please get in touch and we'll be there. So that's really bringing us to pretty much the top of the hour, and I'd just like to thank you all for attending. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you and talking with you again soon. And if you'd like to get in touch, please do so at the following contact addresses. And if you have any more questions that might occur, then please do just forward them to us and we'll get back to you. And one final reminder, if you could give us your feedback at the end of the session, you'll be presented with a questionnaire automatically, and if you could just spend a couple of minutes filling it in, we'd be much appreciative. So thank you very much. Thanks again, and hopefully talk to you again soon. Bye for now.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.